If you've been scrolling through endless tables of specs, watching endless best of videos, and still feel like you're standing in front of a wall of choices, this review is the one that'll help you finally decide. I know that feeling, being stuck between a rack mount monster and a sleek desktop box, wondering which one will actually fit into the workflow you already have. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. In the next few minutes I'll walk through what it's really like to bring the Universal Audio Apollox 8 Gen 2 into a day-to-day studio, why some people will get massive mileage out of it, and why others should probably keep looking. First, let's set the scene. The Apollox 8 Gen 2 is not a budget piece. It's positioned as a high-end Thunderbolt 3 audio interface aimed at professional engineers, serious project studios, and anyone who wants to run a full suite of UAD plugins with near-zero latency. The promise is clear: next-generation audio conversion, massive dynamic range, and an integrated DSP engine that can host over 200 plugins. That sounds great on paper, but the real question is how those promises translate when you're actually tracking a vocal, mixing a drum-heavy rock song, or moving a live-recorded session into a final mix. One of the first practical things you notice when you open the box is the sheer amount of I/O. The X8 offers 8 analog inputs and outputs, a range of digital I/O options, and 2 independent Thunderbolt ports for daisy-chaining other devices. For someone who already has a collection of preamps, compressors, and outboard gear, this means you can integrate everything without needing an extra AD/DA converter. In my own setup, the ability to feed 6 line-level inputs directly into the Apollo while still using a dedicated external mic pre on the remaining channels let me keep a completely analog path for vocals, then drop the rest into the UAD environment for processing. That kind of flexibility is rare in a single box, and it's where the value really starts to appear. The conversion quality is where Universal Audio really leans on its reputation. With the widest dynamic range and the lowest distortion touted in the official spec sheet, you'll hear the difference when you record low-end instruments like a double bass or kick drum. The subwoofer channel, which adds the bass management feature, lets you route frequencies below 100 Hz straight to a dedicated monitor or outboard subamp. In practice, I found this handy when checking the bottom end of a hip-hop mix. The subwoofer channel gave me a clean, undistorted reference that most desktop interfaces simply can't provide. The result is a mix that feels tighter and more controlled, especially when the final product will be played on club-type systems. Now let's talk about the built-in UAD plugin library. The X8 ships with access to the full library of 200+ DSP and native plugins, from classic compressors like the Teletronics LA2A to modern reverbs that have won awards. What makes this a serious feature is the autogain function. With a single click, autogain scans each input, sets the optimal level, and avoids clipping before you even hit record. In a real-world session, that means you can pull in a full drum kit, a full choir, and a guitar amp, tap autogain, and you're ready to record. No need to spend 10 minutes adjusting knobs for each channel. The workflow speed is massive, especially if you're on a deadline or working with multiple musicians who want a quick, hassle-free tracking experience. Of course, there are trade-offs. The biggest is the Thunderbolt 3 requirement. If you're still on a legacy USB-C or a desktop without Thunderbolt ports, you'll need to add a separate Thunderbolt expansion card, which adds cost and a bit of complexity. For many modern Mac users, that isn't a problem, but for Windows-only builders, you should double-check compatibility before committing. It's also worth noting the size and power draw. The Apollox 8 sits in a sizable rack-mount style chassis, so it won't fit comfortably on a cramped laptop desk. It needs a dedicated power outlet and generates a noticeable heat load under heavy DSP usage. In a small home studio, you'll need to allocate space for it and possibly a fan-quiet environment if you're sensitive to noise. Who should buy this? If you're a solo professional producer who needs both high-resolution conversion and the ability to run a full suite of UAD plugins without sacrificing CPU, the Apollox 8 Gen 2 is a natural fit. It shines in environments where you are already using external analog gear and want to blend it seamlessly within the box processing. It also benefits educators or studios that need to accommodate many inputs simultaneously. Think film scoring sessions where you have an orchestra, a choir, and multiple spot mics all feeding into the same computer. For those users, the integration of analog and digital workflows is a genuine time saver. On the flip side, if you're a hobbyist or bedroom producer who mainly works with a few microphones and a handful of software tracks, the price point and feature set may be overkill. You could probably get comparable conversion quality with a smaller, more affordable interface, and